are we broadcasting this one as well, Kayla, or just recording it? Or
this one will be recorded. I've added a link so people can join. I don't see any attendees yet, but I will continue that. So we're recording. You're good to go.
Perfect. Great. Thanks. Okay. Well, welcome everybody to our board meeting for our AGM. Our AGM for this year. It's not quite as noisy as it usually is with the bowling running downstairs, but we'll persevere. So this is good. At least I hope it's not as noisy in your house. So the agenda that we have here, I believe it's all board members, so you've seen the agenda, but I'll just run through it really quickly. Basically, run through the approval of the agenda, the financial report. There will be a chair's report, regards from the township, from our township rep, Councillor Lamers, and then we will elect some of our key board positions, the booking agent, treasurer, chair, any new business, and our next meeting. Next meeting of the board. We do have a special meeting as well. I guess we'll schedule that in and under that number 9 as well. Is there anything anyone would like to add? Anyone like to add anything under new business? Great. Okay, then in that case, can I get a mover and seconder for the agenda? Melanie and Tina, perfect. And all in favor? Great, carried. And moving on to the disclosure of pecuniary interests or nature thereof. Would anyone like to disclose a pecuniary interest for this meeting? Okay, hearing none, we will move on to the financial report. Karen.
Oh, can you hear me okay?
Yes, thanks.
Okay. Did everyone receive the email that I sent earlier today?
Yes.
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 Kayla, is there an expectation that I would share my screen so that it's in the recording?
You can if you'd like, Karen, if you feel comfortable. It will also be added to the minutes.
Okay. I have not been having the best of luck with my Zoom sharing today, so let's just add it to the minutes. I haven't been having the greatest luck with my internet connection in general, and when I ask Zoom to do more than the basics, it really doesn't like it. Okay, so I circulated 3 different documents. One was the profit and loss statement provided by the township. Thank you, Emmy, for getting me that. The second was the actuals with comparative data to our 2019 actuals and 2020 budgeted. And then the last one was a 2021 draft budget for us to discuss. To start, by going actuals, there was 2019 actual, 2020 budget, and 2020 actual. Oh, and just before I start that, we didn't have the December bank statement at our last meeting. We since have. So maybe just for our records, we could include the our bank balance as of December 31st, 2020 was $81,046.
Cool.
And then, okay, so if everyone has their 2020 actuals, you will see that we actually came out ahead. We came out in the black. Our total income was $8,734.76. That came from bar sales at the Donovan Woods concert, hall rentals, bowling party, some miscellaneous rentals, which I'll speak to, some merchandise sales, our solar panel revenue, and interest income from our bank account. Our expenses totaled $6,793.72 for a net of $1,941.04. Our expenses came in the form of bar purchases and other event expenses supporting the concert that we had, pin setting fees supporting bowling, advertising and promotion, bank service charges, cleaning, some hall repairs, telephone, heat, and hydro. the notes that I included in the bottom, the miscellaneous rental, that was a note from the finance office. Um, just indicated that we had originally taken out a $300 float, but we indicated a $350 deposit back in. So we sort of we miscounted that extra $50 was actually event revenue. And then I guess in our QuickBooks account at the township, there's been $42.83 sitting as petty cash. And so just to close that out, that was and we can party budget line actually reflects the revenue from our bowling league, whereas bowling parties, typically birthday parties, I believe, are falling under all rentals. So just something to note there. If it is something we want to change, let me know. I feel like all the expenses are pretty self-explanatory, but I do have a detailed breakdown if anyone has any questions. It has the names of renters and things, so I wasn't going to put it into the public record. But if there are any questions, why don't I take that now?
Oh, helps if I unmute. Thanks. Any questions for Karen? Not hearing anybody pipe up.
Oh, looks good.
Okay, sorry, one other thing that I wanted to mention, hall repairs is actually reflecting city and country pest control by and large. Okay.
Okay, great. Great. Well, I would just like to thank Karen again for another year of all her work, and I realize it maybe wasn't as busy a year as normal, but still there's a lot of work that goes into coordinating that, keeping track, and getting it done, and it's a thankless job, but thank you.
Well, it's not thankless because you just thanked me, so I appreciate that. One other thing that I just noticed was just how that one event was we were able to have that concert that we had at the beginning of the year. That and the solar panel revenue. Either one of those not being there would have made for a negative net at the end of the year. So just something to think about. Okay, let's turn to the 2021 draft budget. As I noted in my email, and I guess for the sake of the recording, I will indicate that that the budget I'm proposing reflects us not being able to host events or accept any rentals for the rest of the year. And it assumes that our fixed costs will remain relatively unchanged from last year. And this was the approach that I took, joking it's the best place to start our discussions. It was sort of the most straightforward approach. And I mean, I don't, it's not worst case scenario, but it is a scenario that makes us have to decide if we're willing to have, start our year off looking at a budget deficit. So you can see income, I have $3,850 proposed. That's me putting an estimate similar to this year for solar panel revenue. I do expect some donations through the community to come in these next few weeks in memorial. And our interest income from our bank account, I expect would be similar to what we saw this past year. Whereas expenses, obviously there'll be nothing associated with events if we don't hold any. There's typically some bank service charges, but we can be working towards reducing those. I kept $500 in for cleaning, especially when we're tackling cluster flies. We didn't invest in any additional cleaning supplies last year, but I put in a small amount there thinking we might have to. And again, hall repairs, that's going to be reflecting a lot of the city and country pest control. And heat and hydro looking similarly. That right there has a cost of $1,270. I don't know if if there's bylaws preventing us from projecting a loss as we go into the year. If that is the case, we need to look at what we do to offset that. Or maybe everyone's feeling a little bit more optimistic than I am, and maybe by the end of the year we could have a concert or two or start accepting hall rentals. But this is what I wanted to put forward, and I think we can discuss.
Great, thanks. Sarah has her hand up.
I have been talking to some of the agents that we deal with, and we have one that is currently interested in a concert at the end of November. Everything is tentative in the industry right now, but they are definitely out there. They've asked us to set aside those dates. And with them, I have asked that if we do go ahead, that we could possibly do 2 shows. So it could be similar to what happened with Donovan Woods. So with the will of the board, the public health being proper and the cooperation of the artist, there is a possibility for at least 1 concert within this year. Not that I think it should be reflected in the budget, but I just wanted to put it out there that we are definitely within the industry, they're starting to reach out for, but not until the very end of 2021.
Thank you, Sarah. Any comments on that, or any questions for Sarah about that?
Yeah, I have one, Sarah, sorry.
Sure.
Is there a possibility, I'm not sure if, it's been in discussion, but is there a possibility of online concerts at all? Like, the possibility of the band coming and performing, but it being recorded and like broadcast for a ticket price?
Yeah, there was a grant that you could get in order to do that. I think we've probably missed the boat, and I think with good weather, the appetite for that sort of thing might be less. I just don't.
Yeah, you're right.
I just don't see a ton of revenue for the hall in that. I think, and then we would be effectively opening the hall, so it would contravene where we've kind of been standing on this, unless we had a decision from the board to open it for that. If it is possible, I'll keep my ear to the ground, but because really all the money that's made is bar sales, there's no economic benefit to the hall. If it's something we want to do because we want to support Canadian music or something like that, then that's definitely something to consider, and I will keep watch and bring that back to the board.
We when that opportunity came up, I believe it was in early January ish, Sarah? So it was during kind of the second wave lockdown,
Yeah.
and the restrictions were pretty tight at that point, and so I didn't even think it was worth bringing to the board to discuss. I didn't feel there was much appetite for it. It would have been when I looked through the documents from the reopening documents from the township and the health unit, it was, I think, 10 people were allowed in the entire hall.
Oh, okay.
They had to be 2 meters distant at all times, including and having separating partitions for if they were, for singing or playing of wind instruments or those sorts of things.
Right.
So there was a lot of restrictions, and a lot of these things too also rely on an online like a streaming broadcast
Of course.
component. So
Right.
they'd have to bring in some kind of a system to do that as well. So and there's more staff and more people involved. So it didn't really look like it was going to be an easy thing to do at Avening.
No, you're absolutely
Yeah.
both correct.
So-
And especially since, the great point of we make most of our revenue off the bar. So but
Yeah.
thank you, Sarah, for putting that out there. It's good to know.
Great. Lori.
I think, Sarah, we're probably okay to kind of keep it on the calendar as a possibility at some point. It's not like we're booking anything else, but I'm wondering what would be the latest date that we could let them know yes or no, because maybe we can talk about it later, but at least have it on the calendar as an option.
Yeah, so I mean, everybody is so, it's all so speculative right now. Even writing the contracts, we have to be cautious around like capacities and that sort of thing. Luckily, everybody's collaborating really well. If we went into shutdown tomorrow, the contracts would probably protect, like, you know, I think I've been firing the dates to Claire to kind of pencil them in, and we'll just take it one day at a time. I think that's all we can do. But boy, if we could get a couple concerts under our belt before the end of this year, it would certainly help us financially.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think all we can do is just keep our fingers crossed, and hopefully September, October, we can open up and start doing stuff again. Everybody needs to get out and start doing stuff. Everybody's getting a little gung shy sitting in the house. But you did a good job. The bookkeeping, I can't see how we can cut that much more.
No,
I might
exactly.
have to get Carla in here to verify if we can do that, if she know the answer to that, going into a deficit.
Oh, there's my unmute button. I would actually have to talk to Emmy about that. I don't know. I haven't run into that yet.
Okay.
It isn't usually a problem for us, as you can tell by our bank balance, but
unprecedented time, so I'm not sure that
yeah.
they can have any kind of ruling on it, because I mean, this is not something that's ever existed in our lifetime, so, or the management of the hall.
It's my
management
understanding.
of the township.
It's my understanding that the township won't let a board fall under. So if it's something that you can come back from, I'm sure they can, you know, either swing some sort of loan to cover it or allow you to wait. I'm sure there's processes, but I'm happy to reach out to Emmy and get those questions answered for you.
Great. Yeah, I mean, you know, I think we can afford the $1,200 hit if it comes to that, but there is some like Sarah, I think that's kind of the point of Sarah's comment too, is there's some irons in the fire if and when we are allowed. I think one of the benefits, one of the things we have going for us is that it would be a small number of people. Like, we're not talking about holding 1,000 or a 500 person concert. Like, it would be, you know, it would be 200 people. So maybe, I mean, there were 50 people allowed indoors last summer, or yeah, I think 50 people. So, you know, and that was in the middle of everything. So hopefully as we go through this, we can, and things start to open up again. And yeah, I agree with you, John. I think there's going to be a huge appetite from people to get out, and certainly from those who have lost, those performers who have lost revenue for the last year. Will definitely want to hit the road and find places to play, and there'll be people looking to get out and have bowling parties and get back to doing some fun things in life, I think. Are there any other questions for Karen about the budget or any of the financials that were presented? Oh, Lori, thanks.
I just want to say, like, depending on what the township says about the negative deficit budget, I mean, our only other option is to lie and say we're going to hit 0 or 1,000 and then not hit that and look worse. So I'm kind of suspecting that they will just accept what we're putting forward.
The BIA has brought forward budgets where we call it investing in the year. So as long as we have money in the bank, they've never ever had an issue with that. So I can't imagine it being a problem.
Great. Okay, thanks, Karen. Anything else to add?
My last question was if there was any expectation of us starting a capital fundraising campaign this year. My guess is no, given our reliance on events for that sort of thing typically, but I purposely didn't put anything in there, like anything greater under donations, just assuming you weren't necessarily tackling that in 2021.
I don't think that's a question we can answer right now. So I think that we got to go, personally, my feeling is that we have to go with the budget as presented. I think that there's a few questions that need to be answered. We're going to have a more fulsome discussion as a board next week on what we, I think what we kind of want to see out of the renovations and the accessibility the accessibility renovations from the township. And I think too, I think that council, I had a conversation with the deputy mayor after our meeting last week, and and John, perhaps you can chime in on this too, and maybe you will in your remarks, but it sounds to me like Clearview Council hasn't fully committed to some of the to the renovations, or maybe they just need to rubber stamp it. Maybe I'm misinterpreting what Barry was saying, but I think that like until we know for sure that things are going ahead, then we can't really present that as part of our budget. And I kind of think it's because it's such a big project too that it's a separate thing anyhow. So it's maybe a bit of a complicated answer for you, Karen, but I don't know, John, if you've got more information or if you want to chime in on that.
Yeah, we haven't decided on anything. We put Terry put his proposal to all the hall boards, and now we want to hear back from all the hall boards what everybody wants recommendations, and then we're going to be going back to the table and start making some hard decisions on what and which halls, and it's going to be a hard decision to try to figure out how to please every hall. We got
Right.
6 plus the 2 arenas. It's going to be a 30-year capital investment that we're going to have to be looking at.
Right.
So
Great.
there's no decisions yet until we hear back from all the halls and then start deciding what we're going to do going forward.
Great. Okay, thanks. So yeah, so I guess given that, I think it's fine, Karen. I mean, we can't project donations when we don't even know if that's the way we're going to go. So if that makes kind of sense.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, you can go way over income,
Yeah.
over budget on income. It's
Yeah,
you gotta get your amount of
that's a
start
good
to
problem, right? Yeah.
into expenses. Yeah. Okay.
Great. Okay. Thanks. Sorry, I'm just going to check my agenda. Our next item
Do we
is.
want to accept the budget as drafted pending anything different from the finance department?
Oh yes, that's perfect. Yes, please. So Karen, you're going to move the budget.
Yeah.
And can I get a seconder for the 2021 budget? Okay, thanks, Jennifer. And any more discussion on the budget? Great. Seeing none, we'll go to a vote. So all in favor? And opposed? Perfect. The budget is passed. Okay, so the next report is the chair's report, which will be a lot more brief than in other years. As mentioned, we had one event. We had one concert, I guess. Last year on March 7th, we had the Donovan Woods concert, which 6 days before the province shut down, kind of looking back on it, I guess I get like, yeah, we're really lucky to have done it, have had that event. We also had our chili bowl and our AGM there at the end of February. Yeah, really nothing happened after that. We had I attended a hall chairs meeting in the summer with all the different hall board chairs to discuss how the pandemic affected the halls. Quite honestly, the halls were about the last priority from the township. And I don't mean that to be negative. I think everyone just understood the realization that yeah, we weren't getting together in any kind of capacity, and the township was very the recreation department was focused on getting together some things for businesses and helping businesses kind of cope with the pandemic. So that was where their energy was. So we had a meeting in July as hall board chairs, and we discussed discussed the ramifications of everything. And we have been closed for a year now, and yeah, we haven't had much going on, obviously, and just kind of have been in a holding pattern. We didn't spend a lot. We didn't bring in a heck of a lot, but we made a little bit of money, so we came out in the black. So that's great. And that's, I don't know what else I can say, really. There's not much more to say. But it would be nice to be able to at some point have an in-person hall board meeting. Maybe we could do one outside. I don't know if the township will allow us, but maybe we could do something later on in the spring when things are a little bit warmer and more people have vaccinations and things are loosening up a little bit, but we'll see. Okay, and next thing on the agenda is township regards. Or is there any questions about, I mean, that's pretty straightforward. Okay, I didn't think so. Any questions sorry, township regards, John?
Yes.
Well, I don't know what else we can say at this point, but
Yeah. Well, we just thank everybody for being here and supporting the hall. And it's tough for everybody this past year. Hopefully this summer we can start opening up and start doing stuff again. And I know if things start opening up in the fall, things are going to start happening fast. So it's tough times now.
it's very true. And thanks, John. I really should be thanking everyone, because it's been tough to kind of be to get out and do these things and sit in front of your computer for yet another online meeting. But I really appreciate how the board has come out to all of the meetings, and yeah, we've kept making decisions as we need to, and spending the little bit of money we need to whether it's pest control or fixing the pipes at the hall or those sorts of things, getting the heat turned on at the hall when we ran out of oil maybe a month and a half ago, like those sorts of things. So we keep kind of chugging along as a group here and a community. So thanks very much for that. We are on to elections of hall board positions. So the first election we have is the election of our booking agent. I will do and call for nominations for a booking agent. If anyone would like to nominate someone to be a booking agent.
We nominate Claire.
We have a nomination for Claire. Claire, would you accept that nomination?
Sure.
Great. Any other any other nominations for the position of booking agent for the Avening Community Center? Okay, hearing none. I guess maybe I'll do another call for nominations. Probably have to do 3 of these. So this will be another call for nominations. And that will be my 3rd call for nominations. So hearing no more nominations, we will declare Claire the booking agent again as acclaimed, because there are no other applicants.
Was there a seconder on that, Bill? Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let's get a seconder for Claire. Oh, Melanie, great. You can always count on Melanie. Thank you. Melanie has seconded that. Thank you. Thank you, Kayla. Our next item is the election of a chair. So looking for nominations for chair of the Avening Hall Board.
I'll nominate Bill.
Thank you, Karen. And Tina would be seconding. Okay, any other nominations for chair? Melanie? Oh, okay. You raised your hand. You're quick on the draw. Any other, I'll do another call for nominations. Okay, great. So thank you, we'll accept that. And our last position is the appointment of our treasurer. Oh, I skipped treasurer. Anyways, okay, treasurer. So we would look for a nomination for our treasurer for the Evening Hall Board.
I'll nominate Karen.
Thank you, Jennifer. And a seconder?
I second.
Great.
I second.
Thanks, Monica. And Karen, do you accept the nomination?
Yes.
Excellent. Are there any other nominations for treasurer? And last call, any nominations for treasurer for the Avening Community Center? Hearing none, we will consider those nominations closed, and we will consider Karen our treasurer. So I'm going to wrap these all up into one motion. So having gone through the process, would like to move that Claire Oster be appointed the booking agent, Karen Cubitt be appointed the treasurer, and Bill Hewitt be appointed the chair for the Avening Community Center Board for 2021. Can I get a mover and seconder for that motion, please? Melanie, thank you. Seconded by Jennifer. All in favor? Any
Yes.
opposition?
Yes.
Nope.
Great. Okay, and we'll consider that to be carried. And any new business to be considered at the AGM tonight?
Well, just, do we have to make any motion for remaining board members and the call out if anyone wants to join?
That's a good
Or we
question.
go on before the elections are over?
Yeah, oh, thank you. That's a good question.
Nope. So board member appointments are done consecutive with the term of council. So that's done every 4 years. It's always at the discretion of the board. If you'd like to add more members, I would only caution, be careful of your quorum numbers, but
Okay.
you can do that at any time. Yep.
Okay, thanks.
Perfect. Thanks for catching that, Jen. Okay, we have any other new business before I move on? About renovations, and that is scheduled for the 8th of April. So that would be our next meeting. So that would be April the 8th at 7:30. Do we want to have a regular board meeting again in April? I guess we can talk about that on the 8th as well.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Okay. Great. Okay, so we'll have our next meeting on the 8th and 8th of April at 7:30. And at this point, is there any other comments or anything for the AGM? And I will look for a motion to adjourn. Moved by Melanie, seconded by. Thank you, John Lamers, Councillor Lamers. Perfect. Sorry, Ed, weren't quite fast enough.
Got to be quick on the draw.